Hello, welcome to Digital Farm TV Rural News. I'm Andy Walker. Australian farm exports are forecast to come in around $38 billion in 2013-14, with higher forecasts for beef and veal, wine and dairy products, according to the Australian Bureau of Agricultural and Resource Economics and Sciences. ABARES Executive Director Karen Schneider said that if farm exports reach the forecast $38 billion, this will be a record high in nominal terms and around 8% above the average over the 5 years to 2012-13 in real terms. Livestock and livestock product export earnings were forecast to increase by 11.9% in 2013-14 to $16.7 billion. Export earnings would increase by 12% for beef and veal, 24% for dairy products and 4% for wine. The federal government is looking for fresh ideas on how to boost the productivity and competitiveness of Australia's farm sector. Agriculture Minister Barnaby Joyce this week announced the terms of reference for a new white paper and the establishment of a task force to consult with industry stakeholders. Barnaby Joyce said the goal of the paper would be to generate jobs, improve farm gate returns, boost food security and increase agriculture's contribution to Australia's wider economy. Aussie beef exporters may be celebrating, but the Rice Growers Association of Australia is disappointed that this week's announcement of a free trade agreement with Korea excluded rice. RGA Executive Director Ruth Wade said the rice industry had worked closely with the federal government to develop comprehensive trade agreements with Korea, Japan and China and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The announcement that Australia had signed an FTA with Korea that excluded rice was particularly disappointing, Ruth Wade said. The Korean agreement was an FTA in name only. Trade agreements with exclusions were not free trade agreements. Meat and Livestock Australia is investing a multi-billion-dollar package in research projects to help manage Johne's disease, to better control infections and perhaps even eliminate the disease. In addition to a 10-year study monitoring the effectiveness of an ovine Johne's disease vaccine, other projects are investigating environmental factors influencing the disease and its cost to processors. The main one is a $6.4 million project led by Professor Richard Whittington from the University of Sydney. This study seeks a basic understanding of how the Johne's disease bacterium behaves and how it interacts with the host animal. Canadian dairy giant Saputo is prepared to fight back against any adverse finding by the federal government's takeovers panel in its battle for Warrnambool cheese and butter, according to globaldairy.com. Saputo has written to the Australian panel rejecting Murray Goulburn Cooperative Limited's argument that the Canadians had changed their bid. MG had argued that Saputo had made a Warrnambool takeover bid of as much as $9.56, $9 cash plus 56 cents in fully franked special dividends. Saputo says it never valued its bid at $9.56, a figure that had been given credence by journalists who were misinformed by its rivals Murray Goulburn and Bega Cheese, who were also seeking to buy the Victorian cheese and butter producer. WA Farmers President Dale Park has admitted the cash-strapped organisation must find new sources of income to survive after being rocked by the loss of its chief executive and his deputy during the past few weeks. Mr Park said it was unsustainable for Western Australia's peak farming lobby group to rely on membership fees to fund its operations. The peak farmer organisation had to look at other income streams and take some of the dependents off membership fees. The alternative was to close the body down. Options included increased sponsorship, entering the industry services marketplace and finding ways to capture exclusive benefits for members. Finally this week, a top US Federal Reserve official has suggested that American farmers consider formulating internationally accepted standards for genetically modified crops following rejections of corn shipments by China. Reuters news agency reports that Dallas Federal Reserve Bank President Richard Fisher told a gathering of farmers in Chicago that it was important that the revolution of genetic modification be responsibly carried forward to avoid trade damage. Richard Fisher said he was referring particularly of millions of tons of US corn sitting off China's shores, held out because of its GMO characteristics, despite its acceptance in other major markets, including America. Well, that's it for Digital Farm TV Rural News this week. I'm Andy Walker. I look forward to your company again next week. Bye.